This is our weekly segment that we do with CNN contributor Roland Martin, and he is a busy guy. In addition to his daily radio show on WVON, Roland writes a weekly column here on CNN.com, and you, the user, you get a chance to read it, weigh in with your thoughts in our Sound Off section, and then we talk about some of your comments here. And this week, we've got a doozy. We're talking politics, specifically presidential politics, and the issue right now, the Clinton camp playing the gender card. Roland, I have to say, you know, I read your columns every week. Right. I think this one might be your most controversial, and we are getting some interesting comments coming in. But it's great because it's so provocative.
Well, I certainly believe in stirring it up, so I say let's get it on.
Let's
in the words of Mills Lane. Let's do it.
So what? Just give us a quick synopsis of what the point that you're making here about Senator Clinton.
Well, of course, last week in the presidential debate, the other candidates really went after Senator Clinton regarding some of her positions on illegal immigration. She was asked some tough questions, and frankly, she buckled under that pressure, and it was, you know, very revealing. And so she even admitted to our own Candy Crowley in an interview yesterday that it wasn't her best effort. But what happened was you then had a number of women, by reading the blogs and some of the columns and things, who began to say that, well, you know, that they were really attacking her because she was a woman. You know, Clinton went to Wellesley the next day. She said that coming to this school prepared me for the all-boys club. And then, of course, she came back and said, you know, her campaign put out a video saying they're piling on. And then she said, well, they're not attacking me because I'm a woman. It's really because I'm the front runner. So it was sort of her trying to play it both ways. But on Monday, Geraldine Ferraro, who was a VP candidate in 1984, she told the New York Times some crazy stuff where she said, oh, you know, they would never attack Barack Obama this way. It's okay to be sexist in America, but it's not okay to be racist. And so then she asserted that somehow this cannot happen in the presidential campaign. I said, wait a minute, this is ridiculous. This is not about gender. She's a front runner. She has to face the tough questions. And so that's why I wrote what I wrote. And it's ticked a couple of people off, but some other people say, you know what, he's on the money. So let's see what they have to say.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, let's go right to Susan. Okay, so she read your commentary, and then she wrote this. If it is fair for a black man to say, I'm a black man and I deserve to be treated with respect, I'm a qualified person for the job, then it is equally right for a woman to say, I'm a woman. I deserve to be treated with respect. I am also the most qualified candidate for the job. And she goes on to say, Clinton should not have to act like a man to be elected any more than you should have to act white to do your job. As a black man, I would think you of all people would understand that. So, what do you think about that?
Reggie, Susan misses a very key point. I never said that she cannot say she's a woman. What I said was it is wrong to suggest that she cannot be criticized or critiqued because she's a woman, sort of the don't hit me because I'm a girl. No, that's what Geraldine Ferraro was saying. That's what some of the other Clinton supporters were saying, and that's my point. No, she should be open to criticism just like Edwards, Obama, Richardson, Biden, Dodd, Kucinich, Gravel, any of them on the Democratic side and the Republican side. That was the point. She can say she's a woman. I have no problem with that. When you play the gender card, trust me, it can come back to bite you.
All right, well, let's see what Kate says, because she agrees with you. She likes what you're saying. She says, I'm going to have to agree with this article 100%. If women want a fair playing field, we have to stop crying wolf every time a big bad man shouts boo. Playing the gender card so much merely cheapens the real struggle for equality in America.
Look, Reggie, I agree. And the bottom line is and frankly, Senator Clinton has combated this whole gender issue for quite some time. And so, again, she has overcome tremendous odds. The other piece is I'm not saying that we don't have gender bias in America. We don't have racism in America. What I'm saying is that you can't sit here and say, well, don't criticize me because I'm a woman. Because and that really, I think, is what I am inferring. And frankly, I think that's what the Clinton campaign has been implying. Sure, they want to get women to the polls. They want to get them fired up. And remember, in 2000, when she ran against Rick Lazio for the U.S. Senate, that race turned during the debate when he walked across the stage and put that paper in her hand and jabbed his finger. Why won't you sign this soft money pledge not to use it in this campaign? People who were turned up by Hillary Clinton, who were on the fence, they then switched and said what he did was wrong. He was a brute. I think the Clinton campaign really wants to position this. And Reggie, I use a baseball term. You know about baseball, right?
Let's go. Yeah.
Hey, when you're a power pitcher and a batter is crowding the plate, what do? You throw a brushback pitch. You either throw it inside, you throw it high under the chin because you're trying to tell them, hey, back off the plate. Next time you do it, I'm going to go for your head. I think this whole gender card was an effort by the Clinton campaign to throw a brushback pitch. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the other candidates not to hit her as hard out of fear that they'll get criticized.
Roland, you just took me back to Little League. is what you just did.
Trust me, Roger Clemens knows that pitch very well.
I'm sure he does. Going back to the Astros right there. All right, let's talk about Desiree. Okay, so Desiree writes in, the quote that none of the men running have shown they are sexist and none are racist is absurd. It is not supported by any evidence. I'm not accusing any specific individuals of being sexist or racist. However, it is part of daily life, and we all have our long-standing ingrained biases that will not change overnight, even if a woman does become president.
Okay, Desiree, show me where in this campaign the other men in this campaign have been sexist against Hillary Clinton. Show me where they've been racist. End of conversation. The whole point of that is that we haven't seen any evidence of that, and so therefore for Geraldine Ferraro to insinuate that, okay, that's what she was really doing. That's why I said it's wrong. So you want to see evidence? Where's yours?
Right. So when there's specific evidence that comes out, then you'll agree that there's bias.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
Of course. I mean, first of all, I mean, look, when Joe Biden made his comment about Obama, being clean, articulate, I mean,
Sure.
we know what that means. Sure, it wasn't just like, this wasn't, Dwayne Dog Chapman on a phone call, but again, he was making a comment. And so the point is, where's the evidence? And again, Ferraro, at the end of that New York Times article, she asserted that we cannot have this in a presidential campaign. She's being discriminated against because she's a woman. Show me the discrimination, Geraldine Ferraro. We haven't seen it.
Let's move on to JK. She says, I was in agreement with the thrust of this article about women in positions of power in general until the comment, quote, go through the fire like the men came up at the end. Way to undermine the valid point you were trying to make by falling back on an outdated misogynistic statement. Is that what that was?
Okay, JK. This is real simple. Let me talk as slow as possible.
Uh-oh.
She's the only woman in the race. All the other candidates are men. Everybody goes through the fire. So the point I'm saying, she should go through the fire like all the other men. Period.
Let me ask you this, Roland, because hopefully she got the message loud and clear.
Yes.
Let me ask you this, though, because I'm not really seeing it as much right now, but it seemed like in the beginning of this campaign, which seems like it was 10 years ago, but anyway,
No kidding.
In any case, there was a lot of discussion about Hillary Clinton's look, about what she was wearing, about her hair.
And it was stupid.
That
and
kind
it was
of stuff.
Stupid.
Is that sexist?
Of course that's sexist. That is absolutely dumb. But the flip side is, but it's interesting, if we talk about women, then it's sexist, but then if we talk about John Edwards and his haircut and his hair and the Brett girl look, all of a sudden people say that's cute. I think it is sexist. And in fact, I disagreed with the stories and the criticism of people saying, oh, she's showing more cleavage on the Senate floor,
right,
and this whole analysis of what she had on. I mean, that is dumb. I don't care if Hillary Clinton wears a pantsuit. I don't care what her hair looks like, what her nails look like. I really don't care. The question is, where does one stand on policies? That's the most important thing. And so, yeah, we should call that out for being what it is. It is absolutely being sexist. But the point here is, no one criticized her because of her gender. No one criticized her because of that. They focused on the fact that she gave, frankly, an indifferent answer to the immigration question of illegal immigrants getting licenses in New York. They questioned the whole deal in terms of opening up the papers of the National Archives. Those are legitimate issues. And just like when Obama got nailed in Iowa, when they went after him because when he said we should have no preconditions when talking to Venezuela, Iran, and Cuba, then she should go after her as well. Look, we want the best person for the job. And I would much prefer the candidate, whether it is Clinton, Edwards, Obama, Richardson, Biden, Dodd, Kucinich, any of them, I would prefer for them to go through the rigors of the campaign to get the tough questions now as opposed to when they're in the White House. And so there should be no double standard. She's the front runner. She has more money. She's leading the polls. It is natural. There's a bull's eye on her back. That's the way it is. And frankly, if you don't like the bull's eye, guess what? You don't have to run.